I grew up in a big family, had a lot of uncles, and at a young age, my father was incarcerated for basically selling drugs, and so I never really knew my own father. I was raised mainly by my mom, my grandma, and my uncles, in and out basically their whole lives in some form or another, either indirectly or directly. They were a part of drugs or just poverty. You know, as a child, I remember promising my mom, oh, I'd never do drugs, oh, I'd never do this. But when I seen how quickly you'd make money out there, and how I never had that, that was really appealing to me growing up. Basically, I was in and out of jail before I was even 18. I did a stint in juvie. Tried a few times to get clean at a young age. Never really worked. About 21 when my daughter was born, and all I'd ever known was getting high, selling drugs, making money, and just, you know, going to jail and getting kicked out. And my life was just this revolving door of drugs and chasing after my own desires. And I went to prison in 2016. And this was the first time that my kids had actually been removed from my custody. And so I broke down. I started crying, and I called out to God. I said, God, you know, if you're there, I don't want to go back to prison. I don't want to steal this food. Like, if you're there, I really need your help. And just thinking about it brings me to tears. So I'm walking down the street crying, calling out to God with nothing to my name, feeling like just the lowest of the low, like, man. And God showed up for me. While I still have tears in my eyes, I just hear this loud screech of this tire. And there's this car pulling in this parking lot as I'm walking by, and it's an old friend of mine. I remember when they took me back home that night, and I just had this overwhelming feeling that God was with me, you know, and that he had been with me, but he was like proving it to me, you know, that he was there. And everything basically from that point on started getting better. God's intervention in my life, God's protection in my life, because that's what he did. He protected me from myself. He protected me from my old life. And I got the job at Taco Bell. I got a phone, and I met some friends that I used to get high with that had actually met Pastor Chris here at Family Christian Ministry. And that's when I met Pastor Chris for the first time. I remember walking in, and he's like no pastor I ever seen before. You know, the way that he dressed and the way that he talked and carried himself. He just reminded me of, you know, like myself. We were just talking, and he just like everything that he said was he was just real about it, you know. But he kept like asking me questions and just trying to understand what was going on. When we walked through the door, like, it was my second time in this building, and I just got this overwhelming feeling that I was supposed to be here, like, and that I belonged here. And growing up, you know, we moved all the time. I don't remember ever having one place that I ever felt like was a home. But when I walked through that door that day, I knew that I was supposed to be here. Like, this was going to be my new home. I started talking to Pastor Chris about, you know, my ambitions and where I was at. Basically, I wanted to become a barber. And the first time I said it, he said, you know what, I could see you doing that. He's like, I think that's a good idea. If there's anything you need help with, you let me know. And I was like, well, I need to sign up for the school, but I don't have the money to sign up for it. And he's like, no, but the church got you. We're gonna help you with that. And they did. This church, man, has really saved my life. You know, not just God, but just everything that has happened in this church. Because coming here, I didn't know how to cook, and my pastor took the time to teach me how to just just cook, you know. When I met Pastor Chris, I didn't even know how to do laundry, you know. Pastor Chris's help and this church's help, I was able to finish the barber school. I got my barber license. I've been cutting hair for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years now. The way that this church and God has touched me, and you can look up my mug shots. I look like a completely different person. I was a zombie, and today I'm alive. And I'm just so thankful for FCM, for Pastor Chris, for all the pastors here, and the brothers here. Man, I got relationships inside this church that are closer than some of my family, you know, and that's just from praying alongside brothers and sisters, and it, you know, people always say, oh, come check this church out, but this church, Family Christian Ministry, is really one of a kind, and if you're looking for a church, I say you should come to our church. Come try this church out, because this church could save someone like me, it could save anyone. I believe that.